Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today is going to be more of a classic Uni X DBS discussion topic, but this has an actual purpose. Not just to discuss how our card game is going or theory or speculation, but I actually want to get down to something that's been on lots of people's minds, and that's the state of the game. However, the state of the game isn't just as easy as talking about what cards need to be on and off ban lists or what can be done, because there's an order to things. I feel like as a community, we have to best tackle what we can and then let that spread further. And I understand that for a lot of people, this isn't the responsibility of the consumer. This is our responsibility of the company itself. And I get that. I don't necessarily disagree with you. However, I personally love this game. I want to do everything I can to help it succeed. I want to help further the building of this community. And if I'm in a position where I can gather info and try to make my voice heard, I'm definitely going to do that. So whether it's the responsibility of us, the consumer, or not, I think it's worth a shot. And so this video is going to attempt to gather even more information than I already have. So, right before I get into it, I'm just going to say, even though this is a video that's on a more serious note, if you do like this sort of content, think about hitting the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and I implore you to comment. In fact, when I'm done with the initial meat and potatoes of this video, I'm going to ask you guys to comment in your own answers to these questions, so I can get as many voices in on this as possible. The normal plugs, I'm kind of reformatting how I want to do this because I understand my other two channels are something I'm trying to grow, but they're not exactly important to you guys necessarily. So they're going to be on the end of the videos from now on. However, I will say, as per usual, if you like this game, you should be following the official Facebook group. That's where all the official spoilers and announcements come out. That's where they're going to announce more events. That's where they're going to announce more product. That's where they're going to just put up everything they can. But you also have the unofficial discussion group where we talk about all these things, including some of the topics that I'm going to be bringing up. We have the unofficial Reddit where the same thing happens. Let me know in the comments if you're from the Reddit crew, and I will make this into a text-based thing where I can put down these things there too. Actually, I may just do that. I'll just do that because you guys deserve love too on the Reddit in text form. That's not just video content being shoved at you. Reddit people are very particular about this video content. And then last but not least, I just want to say that I do have my own TCG player site, and that link will be in the description, but I also rep TCG medals, and there is a new link in the description that'll just bring you to the page with the discount already baked in. Now, lots of people have been a little frustrated, to very much so frustrated, with this current tournament season. And I have a couple things to say about that. One, I first and foremost understand your frustration on not being able to have tournaments to go to, not being able to feel like you're playing the stuff that you got. Because outside of Fest, there really hasn't been too much so far. Now granted, this is the same for a couple other games in Bandai's wheelhouse, but at the same time, we can see some games happening further down the line for them and not as many for us. And there are some factors that go into that, but this isn't necessarily a video to showcase all the factors. I might touch briefly on it, but the thing is, I do understand the frustration of not having events to go to, because for a TCG player, going to events is what it is. It is the lifeblood of your game. You have the collecting the cards, you have the playing the game, and you have the travel that happens with your buddies to try to prove that your strategies work, that your know-how is on a higher level, and that's the fun in going head-to-head with card games. Now, this video is going to pose a couple questions to better get where the general consensus is of everybody, and not just on tournaments, but on prizing as well, because I really want to see what ideas I can try to put together in order to top down some of this and see if I can push something through, see if I can talk to the right people, and maybe kind of spur about some change that is based off of an amalgamation of all sorts of players. I've been asking content creators, I've been asking super competitive players, I've been asking my peers, now I'm over here asking my subscribers, and now I'm going to go to the Reddit. I want to make sure you guys all know, or that I know what you guys all feel, so that I can try to put that in to just a well-formatted plea, so to speak, a heartfelt plea. So now, when it comes to the tournament frequency, That is an opinion, all right? I want everybody to kind of go down into the comments and put this stuff. And in the description, instead of a description like normal, I'm going to have these questions in there so that you can just see that template, copy it, paste it, and then answer it. However, tournament frequency. Like I said, this year we have kind of seen a lowered amount, and I do want to put out there that as a company, companies do fish for information. At the beginning of the year, we put out these highly non-competitive fest tournaments that gave a massive amount of prizing. Like, you could flip these things for a lot. I don't think anybody that went to fest and then immediately flipped their stuff didn't come out with any less than like 100, 200. And I know that's not like a crazy amount for travel, but that's still like plussing, and you could have gotten even more depending on when you flipped it or what you pull out of your event pack. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this covers it up, but the prizing was pretty good for fest. Now, the thing is though, Dragon Ball players are a little picky, a little bit, just a tiny bit. We saw that Digimon had floods of capped, like 500 person tournaments, whereas Dragon Ball was between 150 and 200. Now, this is not saying that this is our fault as players, because I'm a player. I don't believe necessarily that the blame should be on any one person. But when a company sees like these things happen, when a company sees our online tournaments sometimes getting maxed out or just like being fairly full, but there are in-person tournaments not even hitting half the cap, that puts us in a position where the company doesn't think that we care about play on an in-person level. Now, that being said, I think it's a little tilted, because had this tournament been for invites, I think the tournament would have been a completely different story. I think that it had the fest been like regionals instead, we would have seen a whole lot more of a turnout. But these are the two different things I'm kind of talking about in terms of where we're at, you know? This could be, the tournaments could have been better for us in terms of what was on the line to be played. It could have been in a better format, because a lot of people were kind of iffy about the best of one sideboard. Some people like it, some people are iffy. But the tournament itself was dubious. While the prizing was good, the tournament itself was dubious. But we also kind of just showed that in the eyes of a company, we did not care about in-person events. So there's two ends of that. The first question I want to ask you guys is, realistically, how many tournaments would you travel for just out of a month? Okay. Now, I'm not saying this like, oh, every month, because to be fair with the logistics, that's almost unrealistic. Unless we have a dedicated TO who will travel the US from, you know, Philly to then maybe, you know, somewhere in the Midwest to maybe Florida to maybe California, unless we have a dedicated TO that would travel to all of these places in order to hold monthly tournaments, which would be very expensive on its own, and we need a TO to step up and do that. Monthly events are probably not realistic. But how often would you travel? Monthly, bi-monthly, tri-monthly? How often would you travel to go play this game? And then that's for the in-person. For the online ones, again, it would require a TO, and the TOs would need to be paid, prizes would need to be distributed. These things cost money. But how often would you play on an online regional? Once a month? Bi-monthly? We just need to know these kind of things. And by we, I mean me, because this is gonna be this is the information I wanna take and condense from all the sources and now you to put forward. So yeah, really frequency. How often would you travel? How far do you think you would travel? Because that's another thing. We can't always put tournaments in, I keep saying we, I like I'm speaking on behalf of the game, but it's just more like I'm passionate about the game. A tournament, a TO, TOs need to be found in order to host these tournaments. And the bigger the tournament, the more trustworthy the TO. So generally, you know, needs to be at least. So generally we wanna, he's saying we again. If I was a company, I would want to find a TO that I could trust, a TO that has proven themselves. And so far we have Core, we have TCG, we have a PPG, you know, we have PPG, we have Core, say what you will, but we have TAC. So you have to find the TO, and they have to be willing to post up. And TO's not going to post up in the US. It's going to be Core or PPG right now. If other people could step up, that would be amazing. And I know that there's some interest. I hear that there's some interest. So maybe these are avenues that can be explored. But we just need to make sure that people understand that there need to be TOs that are willing to host every single week. And I say we as a community. Then with the online ones, so much less that goes into it. You don't have to get a venue, TOs don't have to travel, you just need people that can work a Discord and people that can be judges on hand. So that's a lot more feasible. Takes a lot less money and can happen a lot more often. But in the past, the outcry for webcam has been so high that I could not pretend like that doesn't sound weird to a company. Well, for half a year, they complained about not liking webcam, so let's do webcam less. Oh, but the attendance is low in person, so let's not spend the money to do the in-persons when the attendance is low. Again, these are not excuses. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and see how that could look from the other end. We are the community and we have so much power. We have power in the terms of buying cards. We have the power in the terms of buying tournaments and traveling and showing up on numbers. But I think that if we want to have our in-person tournaments happen, we need to start flooding these. And I do understand that with only a month, that's really, really hard to do. So maybe not this one, maybe not the next one. But we still have more events scheduled and they might feel last minute in terms of nationals, but hey, I think we're gonna need to show Bandai that we can show up in mass and really just push these tournaments. Now, the next question I have for you guys is pricing. Again, realistically, what would draw you out to a tournament? Cash is just impossible to do. It's just not really the way of Japanese-based TCG. It really isn't. However, travel vouchers may be something that we could voice. I mean, they're already kind of happening, but the travel vouchers we've got have actually been literal travel vouchers, like Southwest Airlines and some weird now. If I was saying travel voucher, I'm talking about the old razzle dazzle, the Visa gift cards, you know, the ones that you could use for travel, but maybe you don't use for travel, and it's your choice. It's a travel voucher in the form of a Visa gift card. Let's see if we can get those in there. I know lots of people would love that. It would reimburse them in their trip, or if they just didn't care about the money in the trip at all, just put some extra money in their pocket. And it's, again, not cash, it's a travel voucher. So let's see about that. And then you have the debate about online. If we have so many more online tournaments than in-person tournaments, and it's not a mixture of half and half, how do you feel about the online prizing? Most people feel that the online prizing should be lesser than the in-person, but if the frequency of the in-person is so low, I feel like the online maybe shouldn't get less prizing. I just feel like the in-person should have additional prizing, if you feel me. Maybe in-person should always be top 32 to kind of give out more of the love and have more additional prizing, whereas, you know, you can keep top 16 for the onlines and have the prizing stay where it is, because online has been pretty free. Like, you pay your 40, you generally get over $100 worth of stuff that you can flip, if that's what you're trying to do. And if you win, oh my gosh, more. But yeah, let me know how you feel about the prizing. Definitely, those play sets of winners cards normally feel good, but the winners cards may have to be chosen better. When it comes to prizing, that's a dialogue I want to open. Maybe I'll put in another video, but I have ideas for what tournament packs and winners packs should be, but that's something we will talk about in another video because I don't want to get this to get too lengthy. The next part is tournament procedure. How should these things be structured online and offline? And what I mean by that is, I'll give my own example. Online, I think that online should be best of one pre-side until Top Cut. On Top Cut, it should be best of 3 sided. So maybe the 45-minute rounds, or not even 45, yeah, 45-minute, 45-minute rounds, pre-side, best of 1 for the Swiss, and then you get to the Top Cut, and I do think there should be a Top Cut. Top 16 should play out, in my opinion, on online. Lots of people are already gone, and if you're already that far invested, and you could be playing for more prizes. I think top 16 should be best 2 out of 3, or maybe they switch it to top 8. Top 16 gets additional prizes and invites, but top 8 will play best of 3. And that way you could still feel like there's a definitive winner. You can still have the hierarchy of prizing in that order. I think that would satisfy a lot of players. Let me know what you think. But I think that in person it should be best of 3. I think even though those are longer tournaments, it's just the best test of applied skill and deck building to have it best of 3 with a top cut of at least 16. I think top cut being 16 for regionals, but being 32 for nationals would be preferable. There should also be, I think, a tournament that's between nationals and regionals, which would be like a YCS. But again, devil's advocate, before they can make a tournament that big, I think we would have to show that we can just show up to regionals in general. Now, next order of business, we got nationals this year. With the lack of tournaments so far, we are about to be in May. Nationals should be sometime in August, it seems, and we are sitting here not knowing how many like regionals we're going to have between now and then. We got 2 lined up. Not too many invites have gone on already. The question is, how are people going to be getting their invites? We could have top 8s getting invites and put out 5 more regionals. That's only 40 more people going to Nats. It's an incredibly low amount of invites. So the question is, how do you think Nats should be handled? Should Nats be open invite this year? Should we just start spamming online regionals and opening it up to top 16? Should we introduce last minute qualifiers again? I think that this Nationals may be a little different than other Nationals, or it maybe needs to be different to kind of hold our attention or make it feel like a grand scale tournament and not just a collection of maybe 120 people at this rate, maybe less. So let me know how you feel like Nationals should be handled in wake of what's going on right now. Then here's a bonus, okay? Question 5. What would excite you most about a Dragon Ball Super tournament? Is it the competition? Is it the high level of competition? Is it the elite invite only status? Is it the prizing? Because a lot of people don't necessarily get the prizing. We all want the prizing. We're all shooting for the prizing, but it's not, I'm not trying to say like pretend like everybody is gonna prize. A lot of people end up bubbling. A lot of people end up scrubbing. So what draws you to a tournament more than anything? These are the questions I want to know. And like I said, in the description, they will be there and you can look at those to your heart's content. But if you could just go into the comments and just number them, okay? Just number them and respond. You can copy paste and respond under them, and that would be very, very helpful. Like I said, this is going to a good place. I am very confident that I can channel everyone's opinions and put them in to a well-formulated document and send that off, and I can assure you this is going to ears that could hear it and do something about it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you like this sort of content too. Like the video so it trends. Share it with your friends who may be having, issues with the current tournament play. Guarantee this video may be 17 minutes, but it's a solid 17 minutes of stuff that I think could really do some good for the community. So thanks. Shout outs to all the people that are being vocal right now. The Mikes, the Franks, all the people that are just trying to help the game along. Because even if it sounds overbearingly negative in some cases, it's needed in some cases. Sometimes things don't get moving until people start pushing things down a hill. Sometimes people don't get up unless there's a fire lit under their butts. And this is it. This is a chance for our community to band together and not negatively. That's what I'm trying to do. I want this to be a positive form of change. But everything has its place, the yin and the yang. So thank you guys for watching. If you gotten this far, let me know what your answers to these questions are in the comments, and I will keep doing my best to try to help this community with the platform I have. So thanks. I'll see you next time inside Joe Universe X. And if you do want to jump in and see some other sort of content from me, My Hero Academia on UniX Gotcha, we just pulled on the new Ida Ingenium banner. Dokkan just released their Golden Week for Dragon Ball, and so there is a transforming Cell unit as well as a Goku that exchanges into Gohan. It's really cool units. I've got a part 1 up for that, and part 2 will be out tomorrow on UniX DB. So thank you guys, and I will see you the next time you decide to join.